Every once in a while, hanging out with an Etsy coach who has an in with Etsy's largest SEO company has its perks. And today is one of those days, because I'm about to share something so exclusive, so compelling, so datalicious. You heard me, so datalicious that literally no one else on earth has access to it. For those who are new here, my name is Starla, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at erank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And as a manager at erank, I get to see some pretty cool stuff related to Etsy search data, which obviously I get to share with you here on my YouTube channel. Think of me as your gal on the inside. And recently, our team at erank was able to set up a survey that polled real Etsy customers while they were shopping in order to get their thoughts on some of our most common concerns as a seller. How much do shoppers care about free shipping? Are they bothered by longer shipping times? And does a star seller badge really matter to the average shopper? Today, I have the results to all of these questions and more. But before we dive into the details, I just want to take a moment to give a quick shout out to this week's featured shop. Hey you! Thanks so much for your love and support. If you'd like to submit for your own shout out, tag Handmade Alphas in a photo or screenshot of yourself watching this video, either in your Instagram feed or Instagram stories. During our survey of 1,010 Etsy shoppers, we asked the question, how important are the following when you're considering buying a product on Etsy? So first, let's start with price. How important is the price of an item to our buyers when they consider making a purchase? Of the 1,010 shoppers surveyed, 1.5% said that price was not that important. 22.1% of shoppers said price was somewhat important. And a whopping 76.4% of shoppers said that the price was very important. Now, that may have you worried if you create high-priced products, but keep in mind, these shoppers said price was very important. They didn't say a low price was important. So don't rush to change those prices. Instead, as I always say, price in the top 10% of your industry. Take a close look at your biggest and highest price competitors and price around their price range. Next, we asked, how important is free shipping? 7.4% of shoppers said not that important. 33.3% said somewhat important. And 59.3% said very important. But again, keep in mind, shipping is never free. It's only presented as free. So if you'd like to experiment with free shipping this season, be sure to loop your shipping costs into your overall product cost. Next, we asked, how important is fast shipping? And this one was pretty interesting. 5.1% of shoppers said that shipping speed wasn't that important, but 40.1% said that shipping speed was only somewhat important, while 54.8% said it was very important. Now, obviously, you should try to ship your products pretty fast if possible, but I was actually pretty surprised to see how close these numbers were. This just goes to show that many Etsy shoppers understand that we're not Amazon Prime. So just be sure to clearly state your shipping time in your listings. In fact, I recommend adding it to one of your 10 listing photo slots to ensure your customers see it. Next, we asked shoppers how important the average star rating of a seller is when deciding to make a purchase. 4.5% said not that important. 37% said somewhat important, which is actually much higher than I predicted. And 58.5% of shoppers said that the overall star rating of the seller is very important. And for a little extra nugget, we also asked shoppers how likely they were to buy from a shop with 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars. The results were mostly predictable, with 13.9% saying they'd buy from a 1-star shop, then only 10.7% saying they'd buy from a 2-star shop, which is odd. 18.7% said they'd buy from a 3-star shop. 70.7% said they'd buy from a 4-star shop, and a predictable 90.9% said that they'd feel most comfortable buying from a 5-star shop. Next, we asked shoppers, how important is the number of sales a shop has? And this one was really interesting. 21.4% said not that important. 45.8% said somewhat important. And 32.8% said very important. So it seems that the number of sales is really only a second thought to most buyers, especially compared to more important things like prices and shipping. Next, we asked how important the product description is to shoppers. 1.6% said not that important. 17% said somewhat important. And a whopping 81.4% of shoppers said that product descriptions were very important, making it the most important factor selected by shoppers during this survey. So if you're one of those sellers who says writing unique product descriptions isn't important, it may be time to rethink your assessment. Following descriptions, we then asked about quality of photos, and the results were quite similar. 1.5% of shoppers said that photos are not that important. 16.6% said photos are somewhat important, and 81.9% said that photos are very important. So if you've been procrastinating on taking better photos, or if you've only added a single photo to your listings, 2023 is the year to bust out your camera and get to work. Next, we asked shoppers how important it was that the seller provides a no-hassle return policy for their items. 5.9% of shoppers said that a return policy isn't that important. 31.2% said returns are somewhat important. And 62.9% said that the option for returns is very important. And obviously, if you're customizing products or making custom items, this option isn't really realistic. But if it's a non-perishable item that can easily be resold, I would definitely consider offering returns. And also keep in mind that if you're shipping to or within the UK, it's not a choice. Offering returns is a legal requirement. Next, we asked shoppers how important the age of a shop is. This is a great one because sellers ask me all the time if they should start a new shop so that their start date is more recent. But 32.9% said that the time a shop has been open isn't that important to them. 41.2% said it's only somewhat important. And only 25.9% of shoppers said that the length of time that a shop has been open would influence their decision to purchase. The last survey I'll be sharing today is a big one. The one about that little purple star seller badge that everyone hates so much. Sellers ask me all the time how important a star seller badge really is for their shop. And honestly, it's not. To be clear, the Star Seller program has no impact on search ranking, on the ability to get a bestseller badge, or on your overall ability to generate traffic. In fact, customer perceptions are currently the only thing that impact your shop at all when it comes to the Star Seller badge. But before we jump into that data, I want to let you know that I just launched a massive free resource for those who struggle with Etsy SEO. My all-new Etsy SEOodles toolbox is a collection of my very best SEO tutorials and resources, all laid out in the exact order that I recommend for maximum results. And for the very first time ever, I'm also including a free 30-day trial of eRank Pro to help you do keyword research as you optimize your listings. To get my free Etsy SEOodles toolbox, you can click the link up here and down below. All right, back to business. When asked how important a Star Seller badge is to shoppers, 15.2% said not that important. 45% said that a Star Seller badge is only somewhat important. And 39.7% said that a Star Seller badge is very important. Now, in the nature of good data weighing, these results could be based on how the question was presented. For example, if I asked you how important a great, awesome, cool YouTube badge was when deciding who to subscribe to on YouTube, and you had never heard of the great, awesome, cool YouTube badge, you might still say yes, because it sounds important. Whether all of these shoppers were aware of Star Seller or not, they were still presented with the question. And for many, the idea of a special badge may have sounded important enough to matter in the moment. So, as always, don't stress about Star Seller. Most of my six-figure students don't have Star Seller badges, and they do just fine. If you can maintain it, cool beans, but don't let it ruin your day. This video covered only one of the questions that we asked in this massive buyer survey, so be sure to head over to Pam Duffy's channel up here, where she's covering even more questions that we asked shoppers. In fact, I think she just released a video today where she covers things that help a buyer to trust your shop. So be sure to head over there when you finish this video so you don't miss out on this exclusive data reveal. And if you like this video and want to see even more of the Etsy buyer data broken down over the next few weeks, be sure to let me know in the comments. Overall, success on Etsy means understanding what is most important to your shoppers and adjusting your brand based on their needs. And with a little science, a lot of data, and some help from a trusted Etsy expert, you'll be well on your way to Etsy success. Cue the funky lo-fi beat. To get my free Etsy SEOodles toolbox, I can't say that combination. To get my free Etsy SEOodles toolbox, you can click the link up here and down below.